Blessings, beloveds. I just wanted to jump on and say hi to everybody and just let you all know that you are all in my thoughts and I appreciate all of you very much. The sun in Scorpio, which took place today, the transition of our beautiful solar energy moving into Scorpio, takes us into the soul, right? It takes us into a cave where we step into these other dimensions. We sort of step outside of the craziness of the movie that's being played at the moment. And there's a few things I'd like to say about that, but I don't want to go on about it too much. But I suppose I won't bother going into examples and details too much because I know every single one of you listening is very aware of what's going on and you are all experiencing a particular version of that based on where you are. But I have to say that I'm saddened and disgusted in the human race's behavior relative to people being incredibly what's the word? I'm trying to be nice here, but I guess because there is this very distinct segregation and division between sides, that's one thing, right? But the thing that stands inside of all of that is this unfortunately this apparent hatred, this attacking that's going on. I saw a lot of that in Melbourne yesterday and today. People who have chosen one particular side, namely to comply, are attacking the ones who haven't decided to comply, wishing their death, as a matter of fact. And I'm not exaggerating. I literally saw many scenes of this occur today and yesterday. It's actually quite disgusting, quite frankly. So this is part and parcel of what seems to be transpiring on the earth plane, right? Because the one part of this program, this reality, this movie, this game, has reached a particular point, okay, and that is to enforce compliance with a particular pathway. Now, if you disagree with me on that's okay. I don't mind. I'm still going to say what I think. It's not actually even what I think. It's not my personal opinion. I'm really just stating the facts. But I guess the thing is that I think we just need to be very conscious of how we're treating people on either side, really. And despite the side we choose, we must have respect for our fellow uh, human race, you know? I mean, what the hell has happened to people's perspectives? Anyway, that's the background really of what's going on. But the sun in Scorpio, um, I think it's going to really take us into an incredibly deep, introspective journey with regards to what our soul is really ready to see at the moment. Now we'll be coming back and doing a video on this and actually discussing, the sun in Scorpio through the next few weeks and all the different aspects it'll pick up, because it'll pick up quite a few aspects, important ones, particularly to Saturn and Uranus, which will be very important, of course. But I guess the main thing that I really just wanted to say at the moment is that just allow yourself to go into the cave, right? The cave that your soul kind of resides in, if you like, and have a deep look. Have a really deep look at the construction of your reality, right? And what are the limitations that are there, not the ones that are being projected in the movie, in the game, in the story of what's happening on the earth plane at the moment, but just checking in with your own self. You know, Scorpio is it's one of the most complex signs, and a very, very powerful sign. It's a very powerful archetype. It always gives us the opportunity to several things, to revisit matters of the past, to transform matters in the present and of the past, to face our own personal limitations, to be exposed within ourselves, to expose ourselves to ourselves, if you like, to be real about what we are actually really feeling about ourselves, life, everybody around us, to have, periods of cleansing and purging, to be aware of the darker sides, the shadow sides, and to not necessarily identify either with the light or the shadow, but just merely be aware and have a look at the components within you that are being projected, or where you are identifying too much with this or that. You know, Rudolf Steiner spoke extensively on the issue, and in fact, so has Eckhart Tolle, on the issue of identifying with either the light or the dark. Once you pick one of those sides, you're just going to naturally, unconsciously project the other. So it's not actually about demonizing one side and bringing the light into the other. You know, this concept, which, yes, it's real, yes, it exists, yes, there is a dark side, yes, there is a light side, but I think the thing that makes that a problem in our reality is that we identify with one or the other. And as I said, once we identify with one, we just naturally project the other. So Scorpio is a real chance to kind of get in there, get into that cave, and have a really deep look and exploration into your soul's evolution, your soul's journey at the moment. What are the things that you are hiding? What are you ready to reveal to yourself? Not even to anybody else necessarily, but to yourself. Think about Scorpio, right? I mean, the 12 archetypes, the 12 zodiac signs correspond, for example, to ruling different body parts. You know, the head is Aries, Taurus is the throat, Gemini is the hands, Leo is the heart, and so on and so forth. And Scorpio rules the genitalia, the genital area, which is really actually the most private body part, isn't it? It's the most private. So think about that when we go into Scorpio season, we're going into those more deeper, private, complex components of our own psyche, soul, and we are given an opportunity to work more deeply, connect more deeply to those deeper layers of our beingness. So anyway, I just wanted to say a few words, and that was pretty much it. I think the sun's only ingress into Scorpio now, so we've got a few weeks of this. Then of course Venus is going to get into Scorpio as well, and Mars is going to get into Scorpio. So we're going to see this build up of this energy, and we know Scorpio corresponds to rebirth, which means endings and beginnings. It means death, which means rebirth. So just check out, the Scorpio component in your chart, because that is an area that will be highly amplified, for the next few weeks. and in the backdrop of everything else that's going on in life, in this reality, with all the other planetary cycles, etc. This Scorpio season is always very intense. We know that. We use that word over and over and over again, right? It's overused, but it really is the best word to describe Scorpio. However, in a Scorpio season with the backdrop of this current reality, that, you know, there's going to be some heavy shit that's going to go down. And a lot of that heavy shit is going to be a lot more being exposed. We've had the Pluto square Mars. We've had, we still have Pluto square Eris. We've had Sun conjunct Mars. We've had the full moon in Aries. We've got all this Scorpio energy coming up. Scorpio is all about revealing the truth. And the truth is not something that everyone is willing to accept, right? And of course, truth is a pathless land. We know that. Krishnamurti, he said that. But there's many different layers to this exposure of truth. You know, there is the truth that resides within us, each and every single one of us, in our heart and soul, that we have access to anytime we want to tune into that. There is the truth relative to facts, which are not being presented very well of late. There's been a distortion, a deliberate distortion, a deliberate what's the word? Propaganda kind of narrative being played out. There's just been deliberate falseness. Again, I don't care if you don't agree with me. It doesn't really matter. That's my opinion, because I know there's a couple of people that jump on my YouTube channel, and they're not there to really listen to me and to share and engage. They're just there because they have this energy about them, and they're a little bit weird. There's only a couple of them, so it's okay. Hello to you if you're listening. But that's just how it goes, right? So there is a lot of false information. There is a lot of deliberate deception and lies. That's just a fact, you know, and this will just continue to be exposed. And when you're talking about the sun moving into Scorpio season, and then subsequently Mars and Venus moving into Scorpio as well, which is what's going to happen. Of course, Mercury as well. And of course that happens every year. Yeah, sure. But look at the backdrop of what this is happening towards. Scorpio is the eagle eye. It's the X-ray vision. It's the zooming in, right? It's exposing everything. And so I'm actually fucking looking forward to this ride. This is going to be amazing. It's going to be intense for sure. It's going to be challenging for sure, because there's still many components to this movie that are going to be rolled out. There's no question about that. But I actually am very much looking forward to the Scorpio season really assisting in exposing the lies and allowing us to see the truth. Now, again, even with that, everyone has a choice. So you will choose to believe or listen to what you want to listen to. And I recognize and validate and acknowledge that there's a whirlwind of confusion going on relative to the data and information that's provided collectively on a number of different levels. But you know what? Look, I will say this. This is a personal note, but I will say it because it's very important. And I know a lot of you will understand this and will completely resonate. When this movie started nearly two years ago, this narrative, I can tell you right now that instinctively, in the deepest component of my soul, I knew it was going to be pretty horrific what was going to take place. And I also knew that most of what was going to happen was not going to be presented as what's really happening. It wasn't going to be the real truth. And I always knew that I will find my way through it. And I still feel that way now. And I felt like that every single day since this thing started, despite the different transits I've had where I've had Saturn, my moon, Pluto, Saturn at the midpoint of my ascendant, Pluto on my Mars. I've had all the heavies going on for a few years now, actually. But despite that, in my gut, in my soul, in my heart, I knew that this Satin Square Uranus movie that's playing out was going to be huge, and a lot of it was going to be incredibly misleading, and that I wasn't going to worry about that. And I'm still not worried about it, because I feel authentic in the position that I stand in. I feel good about that. And even though I'm locked out of everything except the supermarket, I really couldn't give a shit. I actually could not give a shit. There's just I'm just not made up of the stuff that confines me to a Saturn consensus reality, and I'm not made up of the stuff to conform to lies. And that's just my perspective, right? That's how I feel about it. So anyway, that being said, let's tap into that very powerful Scorpio solar energy, and then Venus, and then Mercury, and then Mars, and let's use that in a very powerful, productive, positive manner for ourselves. Not about causing harm to anything or anyone, but merely about regenerating our own soul and spirit, reinventing ourselves. Because a lot of us have to reinvent ourselves, as it were, at the moment, because of the choices we are making, right? So there's this reinvention, regeneration, transformation going on. And this is the time to make the most of it. Absolutely make the most of it, and look at the difficult stuff that you don't want to look at, because this is the time to work through it. And it will be of no surprise to me if many of you have things coming back into your life now that are unfinished. Okay, that could be with certain relationships, people from your past. It could be a number of different things, because Pluto is the ruler to Scorpio, as is Mars, and Pluto corresponds to many things, main thing being the soul, of course, but it also corresponds to bringing things back from the past, from the dead, so to speak. So anyway, let's use this energy, integrate it, work with it, embrace it for the transformation of our soul, so that we can be aligned, self-empowered, and that through that we can do better for ourselves and for the planet and for the earth and for humanity. And for those people that wish terrible things upon others, I feel sad that certain people may feel like that, and I would just be very careful with wishing anything like that on anyone. I don't think that's a very useful or positive thing for your soul. Love is the ultimate source of all things. Love is the most powerful thing. And if you love somebody, or if you love the world, or if you love humanity, you will be a lot more free, as opposed to if you discriminate, judge, ridicule, demonize, attack others. That actually just drains you. That's what it really does. So just something for all of us to think about. Okay, I'm out of here. Have a great weekend. I will see you all very soon. Much love.